Welcome to Prospect Cemetery in Toronto, Ontario, traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Wendat, Ojibwe, and Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. Today we'll be visiting 3 Victoria Cross recipients, as well as other members of the military. Then we'll visit one of the members of the most prolific painting groups in Canada. Let's go. Starting at a Commonwealth War Graves Commission Cross of Sacrifice. It's dedicated to the veterans and war dead interred here at the cemetery. And according to the Commonwealth War Graves Commission, there's about 650 war dead interred here. Most of them are here at Section 7, which is also where we'll find our Victoria Cross recipients. First up is Sergeant Major Colin Barron, who won his Victoria Cross for actions in the First World War. During the Battle of Passchendaele in 1917, then Corporal Barron single-handedly rushed 3 machine gun positions, allowing his unit to advance. Barron would survive the war and be present at the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II in 1953. He would pass away in 1958 at the age of 64, though I couldn't find out where his Victoria Cross is located. Our next Victoria Cross over here is Walter Rayfield, who also won his Victoria Cross for actions in the First World War. In the final months of the war, in September 1918, Rayfield rushed a trench full of Germans and a sniper alone, causing a mass surrender, and then after carried a wounded comrade into safety under heavy fire. Rayfield would survive the war and go on to serve as the Sergeant-at-Arms in the Ontario Legislature. Rayfield would pass away in 1949 at the age of 67. His Victoria Cross medal is on display at the Canadian War Museum in Ottawa. Alright, our third Victoria Cross over here is George Richardson, who is actually considered a non-Canadian recipient and received the last Victoria Cross awarded during the Indian Mutiny of 1855. An Irishman from County Cavan, Richardson, who was already shot in the arm, managed to incapacitate an Indian soldier who was armed with a revolver. And although I couldn't verify it, I highly assume he received his Victoria Cross from Queen Victoria herself. Richardson would move to Canada shortly after and join a local regiment to fight against the Fenian raids. Richardson would be Canada's representative to place a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier at Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia, when the first soldier was interred in November 1921. By the time he passed away in 1923 at the age of 92, Richardson was the oldest living Victoria Cross recipient. His Victoria Cross is currently privately held. While not a Victoria Cross recipient, this next soldier's deeds are just as incredible. This is Ethelbert Curley Christian, who for one was a black soldier during the First World War, which is a rare thing. But the other thing about Curley Christian is that he is the only quadruple amputee to survive the war. Serving with Canada during the revered Battle of Vimy Ridge, Christian was trapped under debris for 2 days before he was rescued, crushing all of his limbs. And once he was rescued, his stretcher bearers were killed while he was being carried off the field, and yet he still survived. However, gangrene developed and Christian had to have both arms and both legs amputated, and yet again he survived the procedure. Despite everything, Christian was noted for his sunny and cheerful attitude, which was noted by Edward, the Prince of Wales, during a visit to wounded troops in Toronto. It was this meeting that inspired the novelist Dalton Trumbo to write Johnny Got His Gun, an anti-war piece about a quadruple World War I veteran. And it was this book that inspired Metallica to write the song One. So Curley Christian is pretty much the inspiration for a Metallica song. Incredible. Curley Christian would pass away in 1954 at the age of 69. Okay, our final figure today that took me way longer to find than it should have is James Edward Hervey MacDonald, or J.E.H MacDonald, who was a painter and founding member of the iconic Group of Seven. The Group of Seven were a group of 7 prominent Canadian landscape painters. Their muse, Canada's natural beauty and landscape. Born in Durham, England, MacDonald emigrated to Canada, settling in Hamilton, Ontario at the age of 14, where he started training as an artist at the Hamilton Art School. He continued his studies at the Central Ontario School of Art and Design, now OCAD University, in Toronto. MacDonald took up a job as a designer at a firm in Toronto, where he first met 4 of his co-founding members of the Group of 7. We'll talk more about the Group of 7 when we visit the McMichael Canadian Art Collection in Kleinburg, Ontario in a future video. That's where most of their work is displayed and where the other 6 founding members are buried. MacDonald passed away in 1932 at the age of 59. Colin Barron, Walter Rayfield, George Richardson, Curley Christian, and painter J.E.H. MacDonald, all here at Prospect Cemetery. Thanks for watching.